Okay, see this part. Pair programming. What happens in pair programming? The team members are being paired up with each other, and I told you, I think in last class, ki how to pair as a team leader or as a project manager. You can't force people to sit with each other. What happens in pair programming? A person has to choose the partner for themselves. No one can force them to sit with someone. So that is a pair programming, and what is the main part that you have to remember in this one? Two people are working together on one system, and why they are doing so? So that they can fasten up the work, and one can concentrate. If you are talking about pair programming, we are talking about the programmer. So one person that is sitting over there is a programmer. Another person who is sitting with programmer, they call it as navigator, whose work is to think about some things, okay, whether work is going on in a uniform manner or not, whether the driver, this particular thing I told you in last class, driver means the programmer, the coder, whether that person is going in a right direction or not, development is going on in a right direction or not. So that kind of stuff navigator thinks about. So this particular arrangement, I'm repeating one line that you have to remember about it. So this particular arrangement allows driver to concentrate on the basic and main challenges of the work of just creating the code to implement the things without worrying about the big picture that navigator can think about. And navigator has an opportunity to learn also from driver and to consider the strategic issues without being distracted by coding details. So it goes on both way. So these two terms you have to remember here. Next thing, how to pair up. So one very important part that you have to remember is you cannot force people to sit together, and you should not. You cannot ask them, hey, you have to sit with these people and you have to work. No, that is not a good practice at all. You have to give them liability to choose a partner by themselves, so that how this pairing thing goes on. So just see this line, just go through this line. When a pair goes dark, talks less, lowers their voices, or doesn't switch off with other pairs, it is often a sign of technical difficulty. That means the coder or programmer is not able to make other person understand, or some technical difficulty is going on, that some code is stuck in between. They are not finding the way out of that particular challenge. So these are some signs, you can say, that if the two people in pair are not talking to each other well, and they are just discussing it in a very low voice, and they are not interested in switching off with other people, other peers. These are some kind of signs of technical difficulty. So this term you have to remember here. Now, another important thing about how to pair is that paired programmers produce code through conversation. They take small design steps, and test driven development also works best over here. Test driven development, this term we have discussed in starting, I think, one or two class before. What is test driven development? It depends on test cases. The development of test cases happens, small test cases are made, then implementation of those test cases. And they talk about the short term goal, short term aims and ambitions of the project. They generate directions how to reach towards those aims, and any feature history. Feature history means any prioritized list of things to be done. So they go through all of these things and they discuss about these things. Next important thing, first important thing, I told you how they're pairing up, not forcefully. Second important thing, ki if your pair is not talking to each other, the sign of technical difficulty, this point. Third point, ki what happens if they are working together. So they can work on test driven development, small design steps. Third point, this point you have to remember, which boost up the things in project. Last thing that you have to remember, it is important in pair programming to switch off the partners, and they recommend it to do within a day itself many times. Don't stick yourself with one partner. Why they say so? Because the reason is, if you are sticking up with just one person, then you will not be able to communicate with others. You will not be able to understand what other people are doing, and how you can help others also, and how others can help you in your work. So that kind of behavior, that kind of strategy, extreme programming follows. This is pair programming. I'm moving forward about this thing. Last thing about pair programming. So pairing stations, what is the meaning of pairing stations? Actually, all these things are part of your syllabus only. That's why I'm covering uh, as much as possible all the terms that can come up in your exam. So in pairing, in pair programming, what things you have to remember? What is pair programming first? How to pair up? And third one, this pairing station. Last one, challenges that can come. What is this pairing station? So large monitors should be there so that both people who are in a pair, they can see the screens clearly. Or one can do one thing, they can set up one desktop across two monitors so that both can work well and both can see the desktop screen clearly. So typical cubicles with the workstation located in a corner, it doesn't give you a healthy environment to work with, and you feel congested. Yes, I'm not comfortable, and the place where you are not feeling comfortable, it is not good to work there. It is as simple as that. Extreme programming says this thing only. So good pairing stations are very essential. Pairing stations, what you have to remember over here, pairing station means a good workspace you are providing to the programmers, the driver and navigator, the pair one. Next thing, challenges. Last one, comfort. Pairing is no fun if you are uncomfortable, so discuss your personal space with your partner. Second one, mismatched skills. Sometimes it happens that a senior is paired up with the junior. Junior right now is not having that much of skill to develop things. The junior is still in learning phase, and senior is having some expert skills. So sometimes it happens, and so what this extreme programming advises to you, if this kind of pair is becoming, that the senior should help the junior to understand things in a better way, and junior should feel comfortable to ask as many questions as possible to the senior, so that he or she can understand things. So that is mismatched skill. So it doesn't mean that it is not allowed to pair up in this way. It is good to pair up in that way, but there can be sometimes some challenges can come over. So how to tackle those challenges? These are some ways. You don't feel like that he's senior, so I can't talk to him, or he or she's junior, so I should not tell anything. So that should not be the behavior of. Last one is communication style. The new drivers in the way, the programmers sometimes have difficulty to get involved with their partners. So to practice communication, um, one can consider some pairing of games, and like one person is writing a test, then other person is making it pass and writing a new test, then it giving to the first partner, then first partner is giving the test to second partner, and so on. In this way they can plan in that way, so that they can communicate over questions properly, and they can discuss with each other some things that will increase the communication level. This kind of technique that I just told you, that one person is writing a test, another person is solving it, and both are discussing about it, then second person is writing a test, first person is solving it, and then both are discussing. It is called as ping pong pairing, one of the technique to do communication. So this is complete your pair programming. In last, if you are watching over here, I have given one link of YouTube, which is giving you, if you are free sometime in a day, you can watch over it. It is not mandatory, but this particular thing is showing you how pair programming goes on, and how two people are sitting together on one system and they are discussing some things about their projects. So I will not take much time on this pair programming. I will move forward to next topic of yours, that is energized work. So what is the meaning of energized work? Like, we work at pace that allows us, I can say, in the way, we work according to our capacity, you can say like that, which allows us to do our best, most productive work indefinitely, so that we can produce things in an effective manner. So what is energized work? And if you are really excited about doing something, then you must have feel about that thing, that you are working on it very in an excited manner, in a good way, and you are giving your more than 100% to do that particular thing. But on the other hand, if you are not much interested in the thing, you don't bother about it much. You are just, sometimes we take it like, yes, we just have to complete this thing, we will do it. With engineering student, most of the time it happens with writing assignments, I hope so. And if we are thinking about developing some project and someone is there to tell us how to do things in a perfect way, then yes, we take it in a very energized way ki, yes, we can do that because we have a good guide to tell us. So see this, these two scenarios, what is the difference between two? That yes, in second one, what happens ki, yes, the environment that I'm getting is ki, yes, I'm feeling energized to work on it, I have that much of zeal to develop something, to do something, to give some more productive things. So that is nothing but the energized way. So there are some points that you have to remember over in about energized work in extreme programming. That is, first one is how to be energized, and this particular thing I have shown over here some critical points: how to be energized, supporting energized work, and taking breaks. Third one, I will tell you one by one about it, and we'll discuss about it. Some important points you have to remember, and you can make your own answers also about it. If you remember the headings, what is energized work, and the main points, how to be energized, supporting energized work, taking breaks, you can make your own answers also. Listen to it properly now. Now, being professionals, we strive to produce quality work, even when we feel demoralized. It happens in offices. When you will be joining in some organization, if you have done some internship, then you must have felt that kind of thing in yourself. Even if you don't want to do work, you have to do. So it makes a big difference if you feel blessed to have your job. Really, it happens. If you are feeling really happy to go to your workplace, then it makes you feel so good that it becomes easy to spend your whole day in a very good way, because you are planned according to that. You are happy about it. Now, how to be energized? Extreme programming says to make yourself energized and to keep you on the same pace for a long time, to keep you energized. What you have to do, you have to plan your activities, that especially that take your mind off to the work for a time being. If you are done with your work after office, you should not have think about it more, that this thing I have to do, that thing I have to do. Leave it, go home on a time. Don't take pressure of things on yourself. This particular thing I'm telling you, just one point you have to remember: go home on time, take out time for yourself, and plan the activities for yourself that take your mind off to the work. So be relaxed. So that time should be there. Eat healthy, exercise, sleep well. Exactly. Don't take it in that way that you don't have to write these things in your paper. You have to write these things in your paper only. It is not like I'm just telling you in a fun way. No. This will become your answer if question comes up like what is energized work. So you have to obviously write down these things. Ki how to be energized. Now I think you can relate things. You can make your own answers. Why you can make your own answer? Why I was saying that. So while at work, next point, give full attention. Your presence of mind should be there. Turn off interruptions like emails, messaging, and obviously in your most of the time in our engineering based jobs we can't switch off our emails, but yes, we can switch off our mobiles if not required. Then next thing that you can remember in how to be energized, one important point I have written over here: go home on time. Next, I told you ke plan some activities for to be relaxed. Next point ke avoid interactions. And next point is it needs supportive workplace and home. Energized work needs it. Second work, second point, supporting energized work. Supporting energized work. I will not take more than 2 minutes in this one. So to support team members and the energized work, some points can work over here, like the pair programming. It is also one way to energize the work. Pair programming. I hope now you understand the term. What is pair programming? Next one, to avoid unnecessary meetings and conference cases. It happens generally. Yes, your boss is calling and conducting a meeting again and again, but you are feeling like my work is being delayed, and I'm attending these unwanted meetings which are not required at all for you. So how that support can come up to you if your leader or the boss or the manager of the organization is keeping these things in mind, that what can make you more energized, what can make you more happy at the work. So that is a supporting energized work. Next thing, taking breaks. So you just have to remember one very important point over here. Instead of making more mistakes because of your disturbed mind or because of your disturbed routine, better take break. Better take break of some time. Um, think about the things that is keeping you lagging behind in the things of product and developing a project, and then come over again. So that is the meaning of take that you have to remember last. So switching pairs can also help. Taking break means you are trying to switch up with another person and you are trying to communicate with them. And so that's it. That is the thing. That is energized work. Nothing else is there in energized work to remember. If you are going in too much of detail, you can make very long answers. What you feel, how you can feel energized, but don't write silly things. I'm repeating again in how to be energized some points. I'll just take 1 minute. Go home on time, plan activities to be relaxed, eat healthy, exercise, avoid the interruptions as much as possible, and a supportive workplace and home life leads to an energized work. That you have to remember. These are the main points. Supporting energized work, it can be from a management side also, that they are avoiding all the unnecessary meetings, conferences for you, and they are giving you a complete healthy environment to work upon. Pair programming can help in to energize the work. Last one, taking breaks. Instead of making mistakes again and again, better to take a break for a while and then come over again with a complete boost. So that is completely about energized work that I wanted to tell you. Next one, we have more 5 minutes and I will discuss about it. Informative workspace. Hopefully, next class I will wind up this complete thinking topic. Then we'll start up with collaboration. Now let's see about this informative workspace. Informative workspace means that it is one of the important part of development effort. Workspace should have necessary information to um, run your project. There should be some important things available with you at your workspace that are keeping you to be running towards a project, that your project is running on the same pace and you are doing work. So what are those important things that should be there? So you can go through, we can go through this line, first line. Sorry. Huh. An informative workspace broadcast information into the room. First thing, when people take a break, they will sometimes wander over and stare at the information surrounding them, what is on the walls, what is on the big screens. So those kind of stuff, informative workspace. Sometimes a brief zone out will result in a wow moment of discovery. You have thought about some things, you have gone through the things that is being holding over on the complete workspace, and you are thinking about it and you are coming up with some new ideas that can also happen because of them. Now we'll go through these important points of informative workspace that you have to remember. First one is subtle cues. What is the meaning of it? The essence of informative workspace is information. It should be informative. It allows people to communicate. So for that, there should be plenty of whiteboards available around the walls and stack of index cards. That index cards mean what things you have to do. You are indexing it. This thing is there, that thing is there. So that index card should be there. Whiteboards, yes, obviously it should be there. So subtle cues means your workspace should be informative. It provides you information. On whiteboards, yes, whatever meetings happens, if something important points are written over there on the whiteboards, then you can go through them anytime. You can watch over with the from your place. You can watch over that big wall, that big whiteboard. Yes, those important points we have discussed. So those kind of things should be there. So that is subtle cues. Second one, big visible chart. So the aim here of keeping the big visible chart is to display information so simply and unambiguously that it communicates even from across the room. And that big visible charts can be your team calendar. So it can show you the important dates, iteration numbers, and when team members are out of office, so you can plan accordingly. So those kind of visible charts should be there, or any progress charts you can show. Next one, hand drawn charts. Hand drawn charts, what extreme programming says, actually it is optional. If you are having important resources available, if you are good with budget, if your organization is good with budget, then it is go with computerized chart, computerized things, I can say like that. So but what it says, instead of keeping computerized charts, you you will have to install some plasma screens or projections everywhere in the room. So it becomes easier to keep some flip charts, whiteboards, then instead of computers. Like we are just talking about big screens available in the area for to making the workspace informative. So what they say, instead of keeping the computerized screens, it is good to keep whiteboards or flip charts. So that is the meaning of hand drawn charts. So hand drawn charts means you can write over them and you can keep the important information. Next one is process improvement charts, which like these two charts I have shown over here. I will just wind up this thing because I have next class also and you must be having also. See this thing, I will not take more than 2 minutes. These are process improvement charts which is showing you like this one is pair combination, which two people have already been completed pairing up and which ones are left. These empty ones are leftover ones, and the ticked ones are, yes, their paired is being over, and now these ones are left. So that is the you can see the pair combination chart. And this one is progress chart, कि how many tests have been, average test per second are being conducted, and these are the dates. So these kind of charts should be there, which are showing you that how much progress has been done till now. So create progress improvement charts as a team decision and maintain them as a team responsibility. Last one is gaming, and I'm winding up with this one. Gaming occurs when people try to improve a number of expense in overall progress. That means you are organizing some games to boost up your work. That is the meaning of gaming. It is completely optional. If it is not required, no need to do it. So if programmers focus too much on improving the number of tests in a system, it happens that they might forget it to remove out of date tests. So that's why to bring out those things which are unnecessary things to be removed. So this gaming thing comes up in informative workspace. So with this thing, I'm winding up. You tell me if you are having any doubts. Otherwise, I'm ending up the meeting.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, then I'm ending up the meeting, and we'll see. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye then.